Hey, what it do, sports world, and welcome to the Real Untouchable podcast with me, Ray Diggs. I got a great segment for you all today. I want to talk about last night's game one NBA Finals matchup between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. As you all know, Boston pretty much cruises to a game one blowout, 107-89, and Kristaps Porzingis returned, and Boston is now leading this series 1-0. Okay, but listen, before I get started, man, make sure y'all hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button, and make sure y'all give me your feedback on what you all think about this segment. And like I always tell people, man, it costs 0 cents to like, share, or comment on the status. Okay, whether you like it, dislike it, or whatever, all feedback is good feedback. Okay, but let's go ahead and jump into this thing. The Boston Celtics ended up winning last night's game in blowout fashion, 107-89. Okay, now the game started off with Boston pretty much dominating the first quarter. They was up by 17 after one quarter. Then at halftime, they was up by 20. Okay, now this Boston Celtics team, I keep telling everybody, this has been the best team in the league all season. But everybody mad. They don't like Boston. This team right here is 64-18. This team right here is 37-4 at home. So this team right here, when they're not playing down to their competition, it's the best team in the NBA this season. Let's be honest. Okay. And like I tell people, and like I've been saying, Dallas is a really good team. But when Boston, the only way I see Dallas winning this series is if Boston have one, an injury to one of their key players. Two, Boston have to totally collapse. That's the only two ways that I can see that this Dallas Maverick team, or they can go back to how it was when Wade, when Wade won his first NBA championship, where they was calling everything. Wade was pretty much shooting 15, 20 free throws a game. If they do that, Luka Doncic gets to the free throw line that much, then I can see the Dallas Mavericks possibly pulling off a win in this series. But if they don't do that, I cannot see this Boston Celtics team giving up this series and not being the 2024 NBA champions. Now, Dallas is going to give them all they can handle. But like I said, the Boston Celtics kind of converted back to what they've been doing most of the season, is that they get a big lead, and then in the third quarter, here comes the Mavs. The Mavs went on a monster run at one point, and then it was Jaylen Brown that pretty much put this team on his back, playing defense. He was a two-way player, playing defense, scoring, but facilitating. He pretty much was doing everything, and from maybe the 5-minute mark, when they hit the 5-minute mark in the third quarter, that is when he pretty much took off, because Boston had lost momentum. Dallas had pretty much taken over the momentum, and then Jaylen Brown pretty much dominated the rest of the third quarter, and that is what ultimately decided this game, honestly. And I was sitting there texting with my friends, during the game, and I kept telling them, if the Boston Celtics attack the rim, they're gonna get the young kid Lively in foul trouble. What did they do? They started attacking. What did he do? He started fouling. So, and when you look at that, when you look at Boston, they won this game. They shot 13 for 19 from the free throw line, which I did not like. And Jason Tatum really wasn't aggressive. Like, he really wasn't aggressive. Yeah, he hit shots, but he wasn't aggressive. But it was Kristaps Porzingis' return. He came out there in the first half, pretty much dominated the first half, 18 points in the first half. He only had 20 for the game, but that is all they needed. Also had 3 blocks, a monster block on a fast break, where he ran down the court and got that block. That pretty much set the tone of what the Boston Celtics was going to do in game one. And I keep telling everybody, Boston is a whole different matchup for the Mavs, because they have players that can guard. They have 5 players in their starting lineup that can guard. Kristaps Porzingis coming off the bench, he ain't the best guard. He ain't the best, a guarding player. That he's not going to guard you, like shut you down, but he'll block your shot. He'll make it very difficult for you at the rim, and that is exactly what they need in this series. And like I said, like I always tell everybody, when it comes to the Mavs, when it comes to the Celtics. If I'm them, if I'm in their coach, one of their coaches, I'm telling them, let Luka do him. Even Kyrie, shut down the others. You cannot let these two get them and then the others get theirs as well. That is what the Minnesota Timberwolves messed up at. So, and then, like I said, like I always say, the Minnesota Timberwolves did not have what the Boston Celtics had. And then people always say, oh man, Boston ain't played nobody. Boston played every team in the NBA. They played every last team in the NBA. Every team in the NBA played against every other team in the NBA. So the Boston Celtics pretty much played against everybody that other people played. Clearly, the Boston Celtics has been the best team in the league all season, y'all. And they are still the best team in the league when they are not playing down to their competition. I always say that. Sometimes I feel like this Boston Celtics team, they get bored. They be feeling like I don't think they be want to play basketball sometimes. Then on top of that, it's like they hit a switch. Now I'm gonna tell you something about that switch. You cannot always depend on that switch. That's right there why I feel like Boston, game 2 is a must win for Boston Celtics. You hear me? You hear it here first. Game 2 is a must win for the Boston Celtics, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. Look back at the last series, not the last series, but the series before that, and the series before that. This Boston Celtics pretty much has lost. They lost the first round and second round, game 2. It's like they don't want to play basketball. Now, the last round against the Indiana Pacers, they came out. That's when Jaylen Brown went for 40. I expect for one of those games like this in game 2. Now, I think game 2 is going to be a little bit closer. I think the Mavs know what they're up against. Now, Kyrie came out and said that the Boston Celtics crowd wasn't that loud. I think the Boston Celtics crowd I think they're gonna take that personal. They're gonna take that personal and they're gonna come in there, and I think they're gonna pretty much blow the roof off of the Boston Garden. Okay, but let's talk about the stats from last night. PJ Washington had a good game. At times, I feel like PJ Washington, they probably could have ran the offense through him because he had Derrick White on him, and he was pretty much taking advantage of it. But he had 14 points, 8 rebounds. And then Derrick Jones pretty much did, Derrick Jones and Gafford, you can't really expect for these two dudes to really dominate because that's not what they normally do. They're role players. So when they get you 10 to 15 points, that's bonus. I don't know if Boston going to allow them to get that in this series. That's just me. I don't think they will. And then when you look at Kyrie Irving, he had a terrible night. 6 for 19, 0 for 5 from 3. A lot of those was good shots. A lot of those was open shots. He just was missing. I'm not going to say the moment was too big because Kyrie's been here before. I just think it was just one of those nights that he had a bad game. I expect for him to come back in game 2 and have a better game than what he had in game 1. But he had 12 points, only had 2 steals, 3 rebounds, so 2 assists. The only person that pretty much came to play last night on the Mavs was Luka Doncic. When he came out, he had 30. He had 30 points, 10 rebounds, only had 1 assist, and that's what's really crazy. But I think that Boston is going to wear down Luka Doncic in this series with all of the bodies that they have. They have bodies for them, and I said this right here before this series started. The Boston Celtics have bodies where they can make it uncomfortable for Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is going to get his points. He's going to get his 30. He's going to possibly get 40. But they're going to make it very hard for him. And you could tell last night in that third quarter that he was pretty much tired of going to all the Boston defenders. He went with Al Horford. He went against Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday, I think if he comes out here and he pretty much continues to do what he's doing, he could possibly win the Finals MVP. I know people saying Jaylen Brown, but I will put my money on Jrue Holiday. And the reason why is because he's the primary defender of Kyrie and Luka Doncic. Like one of those players. What do we know about what the Finals MVPs? People love when you guard the superstar and you slow them down. Just look at Kyrie. Just look at Andre Iguodala. Andre Iguodala won an MVP by basically playing defense on LeBron, and LeBron still averaged 30 points. Okay, hell, I think he might have had a 30-point triple dub. Same thing with Kawhi Leonard when he won his Finals MVP with the Spurs. He played He won his basically by playing defense. So I think that Drew Holiday right now can possibly win Finals MVP. But I'm gonna say this right here for the Mavs. One bright spot off the bench was Hardy, and I keep telling everybody the kid Hardy can play. Like the dude can really, really play. I think that the Mavs is gonna have to get rid of him. Like just being honest, the kid is only 21 years old. Well, actually, he's getting ready to turn 22 next month. So this kid right here really has been, he's been injured, but when he's on the court, the kid can play, y'all. The kid can really play. Like he's not a scrub. And a lot of people don't really know him because he didn't go play college ball. He came from the NBA, the G League. I mean the G League team. That's where he came from. So, but when he came out there on the court last night, it's like he was just scoring. He was just scoring on whoever they put on him, And yeah, it was in garbage time. But I think this right here is something that the Mavs should closely exploit. They need to exploit this matchup when he's on the court. Like, man, this dude can really play. So I think, and he's not a small player, but I think that Jaden Hardy, he's 6'3", 6'4", whichever one you want him to be. I think that they need to look at him being possibly their fourth player after Luka, Kyrie, PJ Washington, and I think this kid right here can come off the bench and possibly get him 10 points, maybe. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only bright spot with this team besides Luka. I think that Hardy was the second bright spot that I saw on this Mavs team last night. But let's talk about the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum, 6 for 16. He also had 11 rebounds, 5 assists. So, but the 6 turnovers really got me. But I will say this, and he took accountability for the 6 turnovers. But this right here, what I'm saying, Jason Tatum is going to have to play better than this if this team is going to win the NBA Finals, okay? And like I said, with 11 rebounds and 5 assists. So what did that tell me? That tells me that Jason Tatum, when he wasn't scoring, he was doing other things, playing defense, getting assists, getting his teammates involved. That's one thing that I always tell people. That's why I hate about some of the other players, that's like scores, that they're just scores, because when they're not scoring, what else are you doing? Are you playing defense? Are you facilitating the ball? What else are you doing to make your team better when you're not putting up one of those monstrous scoring nights? And that's what Jason Tatum did last night. When he wasn't scoring, he was pretty much playing hard defense, facilitating, getting rebounds, blocking out really good. So he had a really, really good game. If I had to give him a grade, I would give him a C+ because I think he can do better. Maybe even a B-, okay? Because I think that he can do better, and he will do better, I think. Okay, Al Horford had played a really good game. I seen sometime where Kyrie had him on ice, but the Kyrie have everybody on ice. It ain't like it's something to be ashamed of. But he was 4 for 8, 2 for 5. He had 2 big threes. Okay, and then he had 10 points, 7 rebounds. That right there, that's what the Boston Celtics is gonna need from their big man. And this man has been in the league 16, 17 years with no NBA championship. This right here is the time where they need to get Al Horford his first NBA title. And it won't surprise me if Boston come back again next season. That's what I'm saying. Because this team is really, really good this year. And they had to plug in pieces. They had to plug in Drew Holiday. They had to plug in Kristaps Porzingis. This team is going to be even better come next season. Okay? And then when we look at Drew Holiday, like I tell people, man, the dude can play. Plus 20. He had 12 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. And it was his defense on Luka Doncic. It was his defense on Kyrie Irving is what I look at. I don't look at Jaylen Brown had 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists, 3 steals. He also had 3 blocks. And like I said, Jaylen Brown, I think it's gonna come down between him and Drew Holiday, or maybe if Kristaps Porzingis can keep up what he's doing and stay healthy, it's gonna come down to those 3 right there, who's gonna win Finals MVP. Because I think Jaylen Brown is gonna keep doing what he's doing. Drew Holiday, I think that he got the championship pedigree because y'all don't know he won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks. I think he's gonna keep doing what he's doing. Okay. And when you look at Derrick White is another one that can guard. So this is why I keep telling everybody that this is the first time that the Mavs have seen a team that they have at least 4 to 5 players that can guard Luka Doncic. Not saying they can stop him, but this a body that can wear him down. And that's what I think they did to him last night. I think they wore him down. I think he hurt his knee in the third quarter, but they're going to wear him down. This is the first team that can do that. I don't think no other team, because if you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, or if you look at the OKC Thunder, the other team that could have had it is the LA Clippers, but I don't think the LA Clippers is just right now. This is the first team here that can honestly put pressure as four really good defenders that can stop, that can slow down Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. And this right here is why I think Boston is the best team right now. But Derrick White had another good game. Okay, he was 15 points, 5 assists. Okay, and he played good, really, really good defense when he needed to. Okay, and it was Kristaps Porzingis that came off the bench. Him and Hauser pretty much combined for 28 points. The Boston Celtics had 32 points off the bench. And if Boston keep getting this right here from their bench, this series is over. Do I think this right here would be a quick series? I don't. I don't think it's going to be a quick series. I think that this series right here could go at least 6 games, maybe even 7. But I expect for Boston to win this series. Okay. But in the end, Kristaps Porzingis was just what the doctor ordered. Came back last night with 26 rebounds and 3 blocks. And it was, man, oh my God, it was huge. They needed him. You take away this 20, and what do you pretty much going to have Jason Tatum going to have to step up. And I think you can hear it in Jason Tatum's voice last night. He's just happy to have Kristaps Porzingis back, because now he don't have to carry the scoring load. Him and Jaylen Brown don't. But I think that he's going to have to play better in game 2, which I think he will play better. And I expect for the Boston Celtics to come out here and get another win in game 2. Now, going into game 3, I think that the Mavs is going to find their way in game 3, maybe. But it's going to be a closer game, I think, in game 2 between these two clubs. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Luka, Kyrie pretty much understand what needs to happen. But I do think that Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, they know they've been here before. A few years ago, they won game 1 against the Warriors. And what happened? The Warriors hosted the trophy in game 6. So this team right here knows that the job is not done. And I'm going to tell y'all something. The one thing that I love what Jaylen Brown said was, when he walked into the locker room, he said, "Hey, we ain't won nothing yet. We can't celebrate. We still have a long series to go." And that's right there. I think that's the leadership. And that tells me that Jaylen Brown is probably the leader in that locker room, unless it's him or either Jrue Holiday, because I love what Jrue Holiday did. I don't know if y'all saw it, but Jrue Holiday was pretty much urging his team with about 4 minutes to go in the game, 4 or 5 minutes to go, even though I don't know why Joe Mazzulla still had his team and his starters in the game, but he did. And I was pretty looking at it like, okay, this dude really needs to take his starters out of this game. But with about 4 or 5 minutes to go in the game, Jrue Holiday was still screaming at his team, telling them that we need to get back on defense. We got to play defense. And that's the type of mentality you need, this Boston Celtics team is going to need if they're going to win this series, which I think that this right here is the perfect team, to win an NBA championship. They've been the best team all season, and I expect for this team to win it this year. And one more thing. I think that Boston they're going to have to make sure they monitor the minutes of Kristaps Porzingis. He played 21 minutes tonight. But when it comes to Kristaps Porzingis, it's like every time he jump, I think something's going to happen once he comes down. Maybe it's just me, but it's like every time he jumps, something, it's just like my heart just dropped, because he got weak legs. He's tall, but he got weak legs. And I just feel like that's the only thing that can derail this Boston Celtics team from winning an NBA championship this season is Kristaps Porzingis going down. But I'm not going to talk about it, knock on wood. I think that Boston, they are the best team in the league. They played like the best team in the league last night. And game 2, y'all let me know what y'all think is going to happen in game 2. I will be back on again for game 2 post-game, and we're going to talk about what happened. But like I said, the Boston Celtics cruises to a game 1 win, 107-89, as Kristaps Porzingis returned back to the lineup, and Boston lead this series 1-0. The game 2 will be Sunday in Boston again. And I think this right here is going to help the Mavs as well by them having 2 days off. This right here is going to help Luka Doncic get his leg right, get his knee right. So what y'all think, man? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this segment. Let me know what y'all think about the NBA Finals so far. What y'all think is going to happen in the near future with these two teams? Will the Boston Celtics win the 19th, championship, or will the Dallas Mavericks prevail and Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving win their first NBA title together? Kyrie, right here, will be his second NBA title, but I think it will be his most important NBA title. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Until next time, y'all have a great Friday. Be safe. Make sure y'all don't do the things that you aren't supposed to be doing. Don't drink and drive. Don't do drugs. Don't do crazy stuff, man. Just enjoy life. Until next time, y'all have a great night, y'all. Y'all have a great day, y'all. Peace.